Hey guys, welcome to day number 26. And in this video, I want to tell you guys about one of the truths that you'll experience when you go abroad to try and experience the culture and learn the language. And I want to start this video by telling you about something that you might have noticed before. And that's if you live in a big city somewhere with a big university, you probably have a large population of Chinese students. And what you tend to notice is that the Chinese students would tend to stick together and not really make friends with any of the people in the community and try to learn the language, which is a shame really, because for most of these guys, their parents spend a lot of money sending them abroad to other countries so they can actually start to improve their language skills and to learn more about the culture. But doing that, it's something that it takes. You have to be brave to do that, to step out of your comfort zone and start to actually learn the language and start to make friends with people from a different culture. And it's far more comfortable to just stick to what you know and be friends with people from your own country. And that's what tends to happen. And sadly for most of them, by the time they finish their studies and they go back to China, they haven't really learned the language at all. In fact, their English level is still the same level as when they first came. And but for some of them, they do tend to try and cram as much as they can in the last 2 weeks, which doesn't really work. Because there's not really enough time to try and learn the language in 2 weeks. Whereas they had maybe at least a year, for some of them up to 3 years, 4 years, to try and learn the language, but they didn't use that time in the best way that they could have. And by the time they try to learn it, it's way too late. And the reason I'm saying this is because the same thing happens to pretty much to everyone when they go abroad to try and learn a language. And I know quite a few people who go abroad to go and teach English and do all these things. And despite living there in that country for at least a year, some of them even longer than a year, by the time they come back to England, they still haven't learned that language of whatever country they were in. And even basic things like a really simple conversation, they haven't learned that at all. And that's because they just didn't want to have to go through that pain of trying to learn the language. And the reason why this is relevant to anyone who's traveling abroad to learn a new language is that this means that you have one of two options if you really want to learn the language when you're abroad. Option number one is that you travel alone. That way you're fully immersed in the language, the culture, and there's no one around you that you can revert back to speaking your native language, because everyone around you is speaking that language, and you have to, essentially you're forced to do it. Option number two is to travel with someone else, whether that's friends or your partner or anyone else really. And this way it gets complicated, because when you're traveling with someone else or other people, you have to make sure that these people also want to learn the language. if they're not really there to learn the language, then at least they have to be fully invested in supporting you in trying to learn that language. Because what's going to happen is that when you're trying to learn the language, especially at the beginning stages, when you're having conversations and you're struggling, you're making mistakes, and it's a bit awkward, that phase is very, very uncomfortable. It's very painful, essentially. Not a lot of people are willing to go through that pain, and that's. Oh, sorry about that. So someone's calling me whilst I was making the video. So as I was saying, that not a lot of people are willing to go through that pain because it's just awkward and people don't want to go through that. And that's the reason why not a lot of people actually end up learning the language that they want to learn, because they're not willing to go through that pain. And one thing you need to be aware of is that if you are traveling and you want to learn the language, then essentially you're asking whoever you're traveling with to share the pain with you, because you will go through those awkward moments and they will have to be there. So if you know that the person you're traveling with is not going to be willing to go through the pain, if they're just going to do it maybe once or twice and think yeah, this is too much, then yeah, you need to think twice about it. But definitely, if you are traveling and you are trying to learn the language, then it is going to be quite difficult. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.